Yay, welcome back all to another Pilferpup live art stream here on YouTube. So we're doing it again, episode 491. Just gonna draw some characters in chat. Have fun. So let me let some people know and then we'll get right into it, friends. Yay. Wow. Yay. Loki sucks the door into a black hole. What's up, jabronis? Oh my gosh. You know, you have to pay for all these doors you're destroying, right? I'm gonna send you a bill at some point. Vanaheim and an A1 warthog into Pilfer's house. Oh my gosh! What is your problem? Why are you so mean? My poor house. It's so warm today, honestly. Alright, so we're not gonna do Keita this time. We're gonna do someone else. Get out of here, Keita's face. Zuwarudo. Zuwaduro. Rudo. Yeah. The world. I'm here. Ooh. Next, I'm going to run it over with my lawnmower. What the heck? My door. Is it inside the black hole that you're gonna do that? Because that's pretty messed up, man. Ugh. My line art's getting like really messy. I stayed up 19 hours once. It was painful. Wait, what? Hold on. Pilfer, I'm going to stay up 24 hours on my birthday on the 24th. Why? I mean, that's cool. Like, I've done that before too, and it sucks. But what are you doing it for? Just for fun? I'm gonna do it, and you can't stop me. There's no stopping me now. Oh, thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate that. I stayed up. I also know, or at least have an idea of what feels like to be stabbed now. It hurts a lot. Did you get a shot or did you actually get stabbed? And yes, it does hurt a lot. I wholeheartedly agree with you there, fam. I need a pose. You know, I have like reference pages out the butt and I don't use like any of them. Alright, I think I have one that I want to use. I need like a platform though to draw in. I can get rid of these kids over here. Get out of here, kids next door. Who's got time for your stupid stuff? Poopy show. I'm just kidding, I've actually never seen it. Ugh, this looks like a JoJo pose. Stop it. Get some help. The JoJo poses are real. Feeling the real. Turn his head a little bit more. I'm all about this, but also this song. Woo, it's Kujin. Hello, friend Kujin. How are you today? You would never think stabbed in a dream just hurt just as much as... You can't feel pain in a dream. You can feel fear, but not pain. You won't be like, oh my gosh, this hurts so much. You'd be like, oh, this is scary. And also you'd wake up. I'm gonna do it. You can't stop me. Stop it. Ooh, Jojo. You'd never think... Yeah, I don't think that's true. Heart, friend. Can you walk and do that at the same time? Maybe his hands will be differently. Like... Hands in his pockets. Ooh. Louis having a real stomach issues. Yeah, I think so. In the dream, I've had some pretty bad pains in that area before. So yeah, you're probably just a little sick, friend. A little sicky do. Getting them ills fills. No, I like that long stride. You know what I don't like is that whole thing there. I'm gonna start over again. Maybe it was, but I felt quite real pain and fear as well, of course. I mean, that's dreams for you, right? And be like way bigger like this. Because he's a bear. Ooh, you're running from something in real life then, that's what it is. Your emotions. Sleep rabbit? I don't know what sleep rabbit is. If you're ever running from something in a dream and not confronting it, it's really just an emotion that you're, or like an anxiety, I guess is like the best way to explain it. That's like the most common one. That happened to me for a long time, where like, you know, running from something and it's like, oh my gosh, so scary, and then eventually it gets you. But then at a certain point, what's it called? I started like fighting back. Not against that, but just in real life against like my own anxieties and like working against them and putting myself in situations that would be like uncomfortable to learn from them. Going against the grain, I guess you could say. And then in my dreams, instead of running from them, what I would do is I'd like run, hide, and then wait for it to come by and then assassinate it. And it was like pretty cool. I was like, wow, I didn't know that was a thing. Got Sonic hair. He's like, that's pretty cool. It's too floofy. Maybe make this more square. There we go. I mean, I'm sure you have plenty of them. You can't pretend like you don't have anxiety. Lol. Congrats on 20. Pepsi! Hello, friend. Congrats on 20. Drakey. Yahtzee. 2BH, I prefer Coke. Over Yahtzee? Or over Pepsi. I think the triple toddlers died. You might be right, friend. There's no triple toddlers in here. Some more light down here. Is a pup. Aloria! Hello, friend. I'm Pilfsdoggo here. You must be new. It's true. Yep, that's pup right there. Because I has chubby thick belly. What? This is Shu. I know they look very similar. They're both kind of like half bears. Or Shu is actual bear and pup is half bear. Oh my gosh, Keita. Get out of here, Keita. You're with them. Oops. Boop. I don't have a chicken butt. What? Too late. Wait, what? Is too late. Pilf, guess what? What? Everyone called me that I'm the person who talks to the tracers and stealers. Oh, you, as in you know, they're saying that you know them or that you're friends with them? I have a new character named Cindy, but too bad I can't post it on our group because I deleted it. Wow! You gotta show off all your work, friend. Wow. You mad lad. It's okay. I'ma download it. No worries. Oh my gosh. Pepsi. You're all over the place, friend. But I can't because I have too many devices. I'm sorry that I fail you, chubby bro. Oh my gosh. So rude. Ooh. It's all good, Pepsi. You, no. No! I'm evolving! There we go. That's better. And this should be more like... There we go. This hair I don't like. I do like this shape to his head. I don't know if I want him to have like weird clown hair. Maybe I can give him like a hat. That like first mate hat, where it's like a looks like a cancer survivor. Guardian, how you doing, friend? It's always a pleasure. It's Joseph, how you doing, friend? Thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate that. Ree. Actually, this is a cry sound. Ree. You guys are so silly. Change his arm. Make his hand a little bit smaller right there. Have to rest the weight on him a little bit more. Weight distribution is a thing, alright. It's actually not bad. But I think his weight is a little bit lower with his body, so we'll see. Why you draw guys that look like a girl? I'm confused. Is it because of his eyes? Those beautiful eyes? Is that why, friend? What do you have against effeminate males, fellow human? How have you been? I've been very well, Guardian. How's your art going? Drawing along, my dude? Yes, it has been a while. I would love to see some of your most recent art, Guardian. You must have improved so much from the last time that we have talked. Sonic haircut over here. Oh, see you later, Aloria. First night of bowling league. Oh, nice. Have a good one. Good luck. I hope you get a strike. Ow. Oh, I'm a #1 silly here. Heck yeah, you are. Pepsi, the heck. Well, my sister challenged to boop everyone in school. Instead, she got suspended. Oh my gosh, your poor sister. Want to chat on Discord again? I'm about to get on Twitch. Yeah, we can chat on Discord. I'm doing Blood Soldier design right now. I wouldn't say I improved much. I had to do 3 months of level design, so I didn't have time to draw. You should show me, Guardian. I would love to see that. Let's see. see. Where's my boy? Where's Joe? Turn this music down a little bit. Oh my gosh. Calling Joe. Is that Joseph? Is that your boy Joseph? I can't hear you. Oh, he's not answered yet. What a dingleberry. Well, I was joining to the anime club as I cosplay. Oh my gosh, it's you. You! I'm gonna upload it once it's finished.
Hi.
Oh jeez. I've been found. So what are you drawing today?
Still working on that Adventure Zone comic I mentioned. That I was working on last week. Yeah.
Nice. Not bad.
Already finished with page 1, so now on to page 2.
Ooh, fancy.
Yep.
Joining the anime club as you cosplay Upa. You know him. Alright. This Upa character you've become obsessed with, Pepsi. Let me see. Upa. Oh my gosh. There's literally a city called Upa, and it's in Texas. It's crazy.
Of course it's in Texas.
Of course it's in Texas. Why wouldn't? There's everything in Texas.
Yep. Well then, also, you know, there's like all those crazy places like Paris, Texas, Mars, Texas, and so on and so forth.
Right.
How about yourself? What you got going on?
I'm drawing more bright sky characters, trying to refine them so that the idea that I have in my head is on paper. Even though the one on paper looks good, it's still not like the one that's in my head, so it makes me angry because I'm like, this isn't what I feel.
It's never gonna be like it's in
I
your
know,
head,
that's what's like obnoxious, is like I clearly have this idea as bright as day in my head, but then you try drawing it and it's like nowhere near it.
Ain't going to happen, Chief.
I know.
That's why it's more or less you just gotta wing it until it looks good enough.
I guess so. Pepsi, do you mean all my male characters have like giant hips? Because you might be right if that's the case.
Got them baby-bearing hips.
Yeah, childbearing hips.
Childbearing hips, that's
yeah,
the word.
You got it. I got you. Wish you heard your voice. Ooh, your beautiful voice, Pepsi. Mmm.
Well, why not?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. I already tried to do a voice chat stream once with like my Discord, and it was a mess. It was a hot mess. I was just like, oh my gosh, never again. It was out of control.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Like, when that event happened, exactly what went down? Was it just a lot of people talking?
Yeah, everybody talking
other?
at once, and then people getting like overly excited and just like screaming on stream. I'm like, all right, that's enough.
Well, I mean, you do have the mute button.
I know.
Right?
Oh, and I used it, and so it was just me again by myself. Like, all right, this was a mistake.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Do like kind of a minor like. Hey, you get to be on for like 10 minutes. Make it count.
gosh.
Have something important to say.
Oh my
Don't
gosh.
just be screaming.
What if I did?
Oh yeah. So what did you think of that teaser trailer for the Uzumaki?
It looks really good. It looks like they actually care about the art of it, which makes me happy.
Yeah. Well, like I was a little hesitant when I first heard about the project.
Yeah, same. I was like, I couldn't care less, and then I saw the trailer that you linked, and I was like, all right, now I care.
Yeah, part of it was the whole. They adapted some of Junji Ito's other work, like they had the adaptation of Gyo, which for whatever reason they called Tokyo Fish Attack in America, and a lot of people were saying that was a pretty bad adaptation. And then there was that Junji Ito collection, which a lot of people said was just kind of mediocre at best.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because, had like a directing staff that didn't know how to actually properly adapt the material.
Mm-hmm.
But the person they got on for Uzumaki, I'm actually really interested in. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of this series. But the director of it also worked on an anime called Flowers of Evil. The thing that was the series that was like people either loved it or hated it.
Jay Boney in design says, "Hello, Infinity Joe," and then Loki's like,
hello
"I don't know who that is." Hello, Jay Boney. I don't know who Infinity John is. It's not John, it's Joe.
That's my evil doppelganger from Earth number 2.
Earth 2, Electric Boogaloo. It's in the sequel. It's Earth 2 Revolutions.
Nah, Earth 2 is where all the evil counterparts live in the DC universe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's where they got Ultraman, Owlman, War Woman, Johnny Quick.
Johnny Quest.
Nah, that's where it's like they are like cartoonishly evil, because it's the world where evil triumphs over good.
Oh. It's just the name of the day.
Yeah. But anyways, Flowers of Evil, like a lot of people did not like it initially when it came out, but it's become a cult classic because the problem was initially apparently it was supposed to be a like live action drama, but I don't know what, but at one point in the production of it they decided they wanted to make it an anime, but they already shot footage. So they made it a kind of like rotoscoped animated show. And because of it, a lot of people were upset because it looked ugly. Because, rotoscope animation's kind of that weird, like, a little too, like, uncanny looking for a lot of folks.
Right.
And on top of that, it was like...
They want to know if you have a YouTube. He has a Twitter at Jay Boney.
Yeah, I don't have a YouTube channel. I got a Twitch going if you want to, like, flip back and forth. You can just mute my channel, though, since I'll be projecting through...
Be hyper-projecting.
Justin's here.
Pilferpup.
I'll astral project into you.
Astral projecting,
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys want to see what I'm working on, that is.
Yeah, he's on Twitch at Infinity Joe. You can check him out.
Yeah. But anyways, like, because the source material of it, like, it was already supposed to be kind of a dark and disturbing story, but the art for it was just kind of standard. Like, it's nothing wrong, but it's just kind of generic manga art. But the animated version of it actually kind of elevated it and also made it feel a lot more unsettling.
Right.
Because the whole premise behind it is basically of like this dude, because of some happenstance, this one girl that's in his class like mistook some kind of event that happened and thinks he's a deviant like her, and so she's like kind of blackmailing him into doing all this like stuff that he really wants no part of.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so, like, again, like, if you look at the standard artwork, it just kind of looks so-so, and some people were just upset because the characters were not as cute looking as they were in the manga. And meanwhile, they actually look offsetting and disturbing in this rotoscoped animation, which again fit the tone of what they were working.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that Uzumaki one, like, if they keep up that kind of animation they had for just that small little moment they showed, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I like that it has, like, no color. I'm sure it has, like, a little bit in there just to give it, like, a texture, but...
Oh, thank you for the follow,
Oh,
Jaboni.
nice. Jebony's a fantastic person. He's got really good art, too. Wow.
Oh, wow. Oh no, are we about to get into an Owen Wilson off? Just start going, oh wow,
Oh, wow.
every so often.
Yeah. Figure out a design for this character. Well, it's good to know that I basically failed character design class. Isn't that just the best?
Yeah, so is Jaboni also in the Discord server for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops. I'm just gonna... duplicate them and move them and then redraw them again. See if I can get a better design out of them.
Dang it. Alright, hold on, I'm gonna have to be back. My dog's whining about wanting to go out.
You got it.
Hold down the fort, folks, and let me just throw up a BRB real quick.
You got it. How's everything going for you guys? Anything new? Anything exciting for y'all? I know I ask this like every time, but you guys usually do have like some wildness that's happened. Some wildness that's happened. Wow. We're about to be hit by Dorians. Wait, hit by Dorian? Why? Moo moo! Heart moo moo. I'm making new friends and improving on art. I can draw anthro animals a little better now. That's awesome, Clove. I'm so happy for you, friend. I want you to improve both with your friends and art. So that's awesome. And in all things in your life, friend. And I'm getting better at drawing big cats. Wow! Like panthers or like just cats, like larger on the paper. The snow leopard I drew is the first almost full body I've drawn on any feline. I think now would be a good time for the art critique. If anybody has art, please post it in the fridge and I'll check it out. I'm gonna start from the bottom. Oh, Rokaru. That's really good, Loki. That's actually like a really, really beautiful design. It's like actually perfect. It's because you have like this shape and then you have this shape. And you have like different variations of the same thing. That's why this works so well. You have like the long version of it and then you have a tiny one. And so it's just the same shape in this over and over and over again. So that's like friggin' awesome. Oh, this is super cute. I love the here wide cat. It's so good. Oh, the tail is right here. And then that's like this right here to this right here. That's so awesome. You should try and copy this hand here. Don't be afraid to do the same thing, you know. I never recommend like hiding something like a hand behind them because it's the further you get in, obviously the scarier the piece is gonna get because you don't want to ruin it. But it's also important to take that risk and allow yourself to make that mistake even if it is like basically perfect already. But this is super cute. I love that expression. It's like charmingly derpy. That's beautiful. I love it, Clove. It's so froofy. And of course Taylor with his like 1 billion out of 10 like 90s outfitting, introducing Joyce the battle ram. Wow. Taylor, this is awesome. I would have those come forward a little bit more. I like her hair having these things back here. She's like, yeah! Taylor's got really, really good character design, just in general. I think he surpasses me. He did another one. Drinking that sody pop. He always has like the half hair where it's like parted to the side. That's really cool. Dang, it is so hot in my house right now. Hold on. Cool works, Pup. I like your character designs. My character designs are pretty atrocious, not gonna lie. I need to I was gonna say take a class, but I need to rework them a lot. I think originally, like, some of them are pretty cool. I like this one and that one. And Sayun's alright, but Shu's the one that gives me the most trouble. Because he's everybody's favorite character from the story. So I want him to be perfect. Taylor. That's really good, Taylor. Taylor practices so dang much. It's awesome. I'm so proud of that kid. And he's like still a baby. I think it's like 19 now. Speaking of which, I'm totally getting pizza tonight. Yes. This is awesome. Who drew this? Let me see. This is Sad Boy. Sad Boy drew this. That's so cool. Sad Boy's been improving a lot too. I like that one wing says book, or it says boo. And then the other one says devil something. Devil daughter? You'll devil something? It's like, yes. I should draw this character sometime. Because he's such a fun idea. He's got like tattered wings and he's got a sword. So edgy. It's gotta be like 17. I think that Clove, that piece that you did is just so friggin' cool though. It's so like cute and derpy. He's like, You have this like really good resting expression on all your characters, Clove. I might post it to the fridge. I made a new character, she's a witch. You should definitely post it. I want to see that, friend. It's too brute. Yeah, like that cheekbone right there. He does kind of look effeminate. Make him a little bit taller. I have to make all of this a little bit taller. Oh yeah, are you gonna post it, Jebone? Jebone? Oh, you did! I never posted on the fridge, so I have a sketch of my armless witch. I just can't draw arms and hands, but I just did this for funsies at 2 a.m. so I didn't want to try. I usually don't draw humans, so don't roast me too hard, please. Well, I'm definitely gonna critique you. But this looks fantastic, like heckin' fantastic, friend. This is so awesome. Your faces are really good. You definitely have the anime volume down, which I think is really good because you have like this right here that I notice. And then your ear lines up with, your ears line up correctly, which is awesome. That's something that I always get on Taylor for, and he's you know, and he's gotten really good about that too. Your eyes are really nice too. I think you have a really nice volume for those eyes because you understand that the back one wraps more. It goes like this a little bit more, whereas the front one is almost like straight. And that's, you know, that's really good. And then I like that curve of your nose that you have here. How you have it, it goes like up and like that. I think that's really good. And then you know that this wraps like that, kind of around the brow. I still need to study faces a lot more. I need to study a lot of things a lot more to like really refine that. But I also need to stop practicing for the sake of like improving in realism and just work on my characters, you know, because like I don't need them to look more real. I just need them to look like have really good silhouette designs, which is like something that I'm working on. Shabu looks alright, Keita looks alright, Razek, and then Sayun, I think it looks pretty cute. Her hair is really good because you understand that it comes from like that direction, that same direction. Sorry, I'm like botching this a lot. I think that's really good. I think you have a really good sense of like volume because you understand like that it's not, you know, from this angle it's getting cut like right there, and I think that's really good. So I think that's awesome. What can I do? I think Lakeland had really good, so Uh-oh. Getting spam-alanged. I think Joe's coming home right now. I can hear him.
Yeah, I hear.
Oof.
What you got now,
Oh,
boy?
jeez. That's the only thing I know. Ear proportion. Yeah, that's really good, J-Bonet. And then the shoulders look really good. I think your neck's really good. That chin's really nice. Actually, your chins are better than mine, to be honest. You have that really nice cut right there. And then maybe, yeah, your cheekbones are really well lined up too. I think you have that down a very nice amount as well. You know, I have trouble with this as well, so don't feel bad. Maybe I think that neck could come in a little bit more, like right here. Maybe even a little bit more, because you almost have this. Is it brats? Is that what it's called? Brats with a Z. That's what it reminds me of, and that's not a negative thing. I mean, clearly there's an appeal to this. Which is what people, you know, it's a toy, so people eat that stuff up. All of these look so bad, though. I want to find one that's actually, like, a little bit closer to what you draw. I think she's supposed to be a pirate, right? Your character. She's got, like, that pioneer kind of outfitting.
Oh, I thought it was a pirate outfit.
Yeah, pioneer and pirating are like literally the same thing. Yeah, this is what it reminds me of. It's something like this face. Obviously, this is more like exaggerated for the sake of like children being like, oh, look at those, look at the face. But what I was saying is like the necks are really thin to accentuate the size of the head, or like rather accentuate the features of the head. And then that's why in like a lot of anime and cartoon you'll see they have like really slim necks. It's because it separates it from the body a lot easier. It doesn't look like, you know, because human necks are like this, right? They're like almost the size of the head right here, right? They like go straight to your cheeks, but in anime they go like this because it separates. Otherwise the silhouette is like removed. So that shoulder's really good. I do like that I was just gonna say your shoulder actually, it looks like you used a line, and that's top tier, you know, understanding of like how the body works. But then you want to follow that line too, and then you want opposition, which is what it looks like you did here with the hip, where like you want to have the opposite, so the contrast between, or difference between like the way the shoulders are is opposed by the way the hips are, and that's why that pose is like always so used so often. It's like a cliche pose, which is not a bad thing. But what I normally do,
pasta.
yeah, exactly. What I normally do for the breasts is it's almost like a square, right? Like it's a plane in itself, because your shoulders are almost like a triangle, like this, you know. And then the chest comes outwards like that I mean, it's a little bit lower, but yeah, it comes out like that. And so I think you did really well there. And you can just have them come back in like this, and then you can have them wrap a little bit like that. And then your back is really good too. I think you should follow that line through the body. I think that helps a lot too, if you have it go like around, so you kind of understand where everything is, and then have it go down, and then yeah, there we go. Those hips should be lower, but it's fine. It looks good, and then have that twist so hip comes up or whatever. But yeah, you're good. You know what you're doing, and I think if you just keep going, you're perfection right there, friend. So great job. Yes, teach me breasts. I don't understand them. What are breasts? How do they work? It's like magnets. No, I think I don't like.
It's a system of tubes.
Oh my gosh.
Just like the internet.
Oh my gosh. What I would recommend is looking at just humans and drawing them from there, and like obviously I don't want to say like something inappropriate, like look at, you know, a naked human body, but that's how I learned, and that's how other people that are masters have learned. So that in mind.
Eventually, you do have to look at the.
Well.
Yes, I know I don't know what everyone's age is.
There you
but
go.
It is,
we're gonna say that the masters, the people that are masterwork artists and use human anatomy at its base level, to say the least.
Well, but it's a matter of like that's why they teach life drawing classes.
Right,
like,
but that's also in college.
Standard.
That's not in high school. That's why I'm like, let's stop. There's some high schools, but anyways.
Yeah, like.
Anyways. Yeah. I appreciate it, but at the same time, like, stop it. Get some help. But yeah, so that's what I would recommend, Jibin.
Besides, it's better if people learn like from real life now, and then instead of like learning mistakes from like trying to copy some things from like animation, but not know the foundation on what they're building off of. Because then it's a copy of a copy of a copy kind of scenario.
The biggest mistake is drawing anime from anime, and that's what that's the trap that everybody falls into, is because they're in each anime, usually the better ones, there's a specific design choice. Like, let me show you. Let's see, Shinji Evangelion. So when you look at them for the first time, you're like, oh, you know, they look like anime dudes or whatever. You know, they just look like pretty standard. So let's look at Shinji with that, and then Shinji with just like the normal clothes. Because there's certain things that are being accentuated, and it's not as drastic as like Western animation. But if you notice, they're like really skinny, right? And let's look up Ray. Hopefully we can find one that's not like terrible. Ray. And it's to show how frail and fragile these characters are. It's like an actual design choice that a lot of people don't think of or know. It's just to show, like, you know, like you can snap them like a twig. You know, they're like really, really thin.
And also, like, you know, if there's a lot of choices that were made in Evangelion that were not like by accident. So since there's a lot of Evangelion, particularly that is like supposed to be subversion of mecha style anime shows, they were trying to make the kids look more like kids as opposed to Gundam, which it's like, hey, he was a teenager, but he's already ready to go to war with people.
I mean, in Gundam they are, though. They're like actually trained. So it's fairly appropriate, but I get what you mean.
Though?
That's true. I've only seen Gundam Wing, so I can't really talk.
Yeah. Now that was just pretty boys that also go to war.
Yeah.
They should have been making love, not war.
Oh my gosh, love, not Warcraft.
Now, but going like to design choices, I don't know if you ever saw the show Cromartie High, but that was a masterclass of, hey, let's just draw like teenage kids, but make them look like they're hardened criminals. But for the sake of comedy,
what's it called?
It's a Cromartie High. It's a much older anime, but for me, it's one of the best kind of absurd comedy animes. Like, because it's a parody of. There was a point where Japan had like a, you know, the big trend in a lot of stories was like delinquents.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, like street gangs, that kind of stuff going on. And Cromartie High was just like a parody of it, of like a guy who goes to a school that is like supposed to be for the worst of the worst, and he only got there because of like dumb circumstance. But then it's just dumb comedy bits, like he's like, man, I don't know, like all these guys look kind of scary around. He drops a pencil and the dude picks it up for him. He's like, oh, maybe it's not so bad. The dude then proceeds to eat the pencil. and then he's like, okay, he just ate my pencil. And so then the character like brings up his pencil case and just drops like 20 pencils onto his table. It just waits to see what the guy does. And even the guy's like, oh no, I guess I gotta do this.
Oh jeez.
Gets all the pencils together, It just tries to eat all of them at once.
It's so weird.
Yeah. But then it's like, it starts going further and further to absurdity. Like, he's, by some other, like, stroke of luck, he ends up being, quote, the toughest guy in his class. And, like, there's this guy who's the one that's, like, teaching him the ropes about... And he's like, well, I gotta show you who's the toughest guy in the other classes. And so, goes up and he's like, here's the toughest guy in this class. It's like, what makes him so tough? No one knows anything about him. And they open up the door, and there's a dude who looks exactly like Freddie Mercury.
Oh.
Like, and he just stares at them. Like, and they're even like, does this guy belong in a high school with him? And doesn't say anything. And then, like, comes out, he's like, how'd it go? He's like, he didn't say anything to me. But you know what? From now on, let us call him Freddy.
Oh, jeez.
And then preceding that, they go to the next classroom. He's like, I heard this guy's supposed to be a real beast. They open up the door, and it's a gorilla.
No.
Just a gorilla. And
anime's
like,
so weird.
Yeah. Now, and then the best of it is when they go to the final one, where there is like this trash can-looking robot called Mechazawa. The two of them were wondering, like, wait, is he a robot? Because no one else seems to be freaking out about it, and no one wants to point it out. But they don't also themselves want to verbally admit it, thinking, like, maybe we're the crazy ones.
Yeah, Kyujin says they're all robots, rock stars, and aliens. I'm like, oh yeah, it's so funny.
Nah, it is a fantastic series. It's also one of those shows where it's the rarity that the English audio actually enhances a lot of the comedy too.
That's Sergeant Frog. Sergeant Frog it was the exact same thing where it was like you gotta watch it in English because the Japanese is actually really bad, which is so sad because that manga is glorious.
Also, alternatively, Ghost Stories. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Ghost Stories?
That was a notorious anime because I can't remember what was the official story on what happened, but like they were bringing it over to America, and it's just a standard like, hey, it's these kids and there's a monster of the week thing going on, and some kind of like mystery event, but then something happened where I guess like whatever they had for the script got lost for it, and eventually they just said, you know what, whatever, let's just ad-lib the script. So then it ostensibly becomes them like almost like ad-libbing the entire dialogue of the show. And so some of it is like, you know, shock value humor just to be shock value humor, but every so often they do have like some genuinely funny and stupid moment. Or like they just kind of change the narrative as they saw to fit it. Like there's some character that they decided, hey, you know what, let's make her the like kind of crazy, like super religious one of the group, and having her say stuff like, oh, didn't you know Jesus invented the internet for us? It's a glorious gift.
That's funny.
Yeah. Or like little kid, there's like the little kid of the group who's, you know, the one who's always supposed to wander off into danger,
right?
And the rest of the team goes and saves. But in it, they decided like not to make him say anything that clearly makes sense. They just have him like saying nonsensical babble most of the time, especially, and a majority of the time of him just like crying it out like, oh
jeez.
Yeah.
Typical anime.
Yeah, it's just one of those shows that it's fun to watch with a group because of just how like insanely stupid it gets. Yeah.
Animu's great. Japanese and Kyujin love anime. The top anime series I love to watch. Kyujin apparently loves that show. It's funny. Have you gone to the arcade at all lately, or no?
Sorry, what?
Have you gone to the arcade at all lately, or no?
I went to pinballs the other day with a group of friends.
Nice.
And it was, yeah, it was pretty fun. Like it's that whole matter. Every time I go there, there's always some new stuff they add in. And
Yeah.
one of which was just this kind of weird. It had a 3-dimensional Pong game going.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, like that was the thing. It's weird and it's kind of floaty, cause like it's almost like there's a magnet underneath the board that is moving with it, and they just kind of bounce the ball, like of course, or the square cube back and forth, and you can only move like left and right. You can't go like forward or back or anything like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it is actually a little bit of a challenge too, because like I was checking it out with a friend of mine, and like the first few times I was playing it, it just, you know, the AI just seems to know what to do perfectly.
Right, it always will.
Yeah, and meanwhile, like the controllers just kind of like slide around, and I overcompensate when I try to course correct over something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like I don't know. I kind of like the idea of going to arcades, but it's just not the same as like when I was a kid. So every time I go, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to spend money. I used to love going to the arcade though, and I've only gone like a few times when I was a kid because I was a poor boy.
Nah, we never really had like a proper arcade. Like, well, no, wait, that's not true. The closest we had would be stuff like, you know, not Chuck E. Cheese, but places that were similar to it, like pizza restaurant and then like arcade fun place.
Right.
Yeah. Like, like the big thing, I don't know if this is outside of Texas, but like Mr. Getty's was like the big chain for a while for that stuff. Yeah. And
Do you guys like going to arcades? Do you guys think, like, I don't know, do you enjoy it? I don't know.
Kind of debating if I want to do something for my birthday and involving like maybe going to the pinballs that you and I went to recently.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
It's next week. It's on the 10th, but it's probably not going to do anything that day. So that's a Tuesday and all that.
A Tuesday? That's perfect. I'm definitely free on Tuesday, if you like.
Well, no, that's you know, birthday with the family and on the Tuesday one.
Fine.
Yeah, I'm talking about. Well, unless you're willing to be adopted into this family household, I can't really
I don't know.
help you.
I don't know like anything about your family. I think I've met your brother like once, and that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, just kind of toying with the idea. Mostly it's just because, you know, putting together a birthday plan tends to be a lot of hassle and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got third on the high scoreboard on the Spino Showdown on the Jurassic Park arcade game. Ooh. You mean the Dino Showdown? I don't know what that is. You know what I found that they do have at that arcade though, the pinballs, is there's like this old mech fighting game where you have these two joysticks. I forget what it's called.
Oh, shoot. I know which one you're talking about. It's with like kind of the kind of blocky anime looking robots.
Yeah, that was like my favorite because it's like, I don't know, it's really intuitive, and I was like, oh my gosh, I used to love that one.
Nah. But it's also one of those things. Anytime I like going to arcades, but it is also that thing too of like sometimes it's just like kind of nothing there for me.
Yeah.
Like you know, I like playing pinball machines every so often, but I'm never really good at those.
Oh, I know, same.
Or then also like you know, I try to stay away from games that'll just you know intentionally want you to spend a lot of money to get tickets and all that.
Right.
Especially when they make you think like, oh, you could obtain this awesome thing for the tickets.
I don't know, the roulette ones like that are some of my favorite because it's basically just gambling. Not that I would ever recommend gambling, but it's like I just like that idea of like you could win like this big payout, and it's like, all right, fair enough. Like I'm not doing anything else here anyways.
Yeah. Nah, but it was like having that kind of like realization of like, man, why all this money to try to get tickets when I could probably just as well spend the money to buy said thing instead. Like the only time like that kind of ticket thing works is if it's like you know a group collaborative effort kind of deal. Like I remember some friend of mine once just had this whole story about some guys doing like a bachelor party for a friend, and they were at some arcade. And I guess in the course of the night, they decided they were gonna buy this like giant like 1-to-1 Spider-Man statue that they had there. And you know, it's the crazy expensive.
Yeah, it's like 10. It's like 50,000 tickets or something. Yeah,
and so there was at least I guess like maybe 20-something guys there or something, and so they all decided that it's going to be their mission to get enough tickets together to buy that,
right,
and to give it to the groom and all.
And
well, I believe they got it.
Oh.
I mean, I wasn't there for this whole event, so I didn't see any of it go down.
Right, that's fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did get to hang out with Kelly and a couple of others last night.
Oh, I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
I was busy, and then after I hung out with Kelly, we were chatting it up. Yeah, we hung out till like 3 a.m.
I see.
Yeah.
Was it work related that you were out so late?
Kinda. To figure out this character design. If a character was a big, huggable, lovable bear, but also a pirate that wields a great sword, what comes to mind for you?
Well, I mean, I would say at least now. Granted, this might be super counter to what you're doing right now, but I would say really exaggerate the like upper body.
That's what I'm trying to do. But it's also has like I'm combining like exaggerated cartoon western, but also like that refined like clean silhouette Eastern of like Korean, not Japanese. Japanese is a little bit more, I want to say like beautified, whereas Korean's more like clean. I don't know if that makes sense. I would have to find like a good example of the two. It's like Muka compared to like League of Legends art. Let's see.
I see.
Yeah.
But nah, like I would say like broaden up the shoulders. Kind of give him more of like a overall like boxier look.
Well, you're thinking like the sturdier approach, and I understand that is like the correct approach. But when you make the shoulders looser and lower, it gives it a more relaxed and comfortable appeal compared to like the broader. I know what you're thinking, like almost like superhero shoulders, where it's like not that
like,
exaggerated, but
well, no, like broad in the sense sense that it's wide, like
Right.
not broad and like haunched up.
Right, I know.
But like,
but that's more like foundation. That's it's less of like the relaxed, like comfortable, like the emotion you get from your best friend is kind of the appeal that I'm going for, not necessarily the like sturdy friend, I guess you could say.
yeah.
Yeah. Because like each little subtlety will create a completely different emotion behind just seeing the character. So I'm trying to get that like perfect appeal, but like you always say is like it'll never be perfect, and it's true.
Yeah.
Because it also has to look like silly enough too.
Yeah. Now, like, I would say if people trying to get that kind of, like, appeal, now granted, it's not within the same style you're doing, but,
right.
Like, have you seen, that one show that's on Cartoon Network, Meow?
What's it called?
Meow. Like,
Meow?
I think it's Meow, Guardians of Pure.
I don't know that song. Mm-hmm.
But there's a character in it called Badger Claw, and it's kind of like the sidekick dude. And despite having like a cyborg arm that turns into weapons, he's also like the kind of more lovable one.
Okay. How do you spell the name of it?
Hold on.
Oh, I found him. I know what you're talking about. Mau Mau. You're talking about Mau Mau.
Oh, Mau Mau.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Meow or something like.
Mau Mau. I need to watch this show. It actually looks really good.
Yeah, I've only seen the pilot to it, but it is pretty like silly and funny.
Yeah.
Since it's kind of like this concept of almost like.
Yeah. See this right here. I know what you're talking about now. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Is like yeah, it has like that robust tummy, and then like all of that, like it's basically just a big square with like circles, and I'm trying to avoid that because I want to be a little bit more refined than being like straight cartoon style.
Yeah.
But that is an example that I thought you were gonna go that way, which is funny. It's obviously like it communicates exactly what you were saying.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, I can like do a quick mock-up on what like I'm kind of more it's harder for me to explain.
No, I understand, cause like your style and mine are very different, so I appreciate like the input. But I think yours is a lot more in the Western like animation style, whereas mine is like more of the Eastern. What do you guys think in chat in terms of what I was saying, where it's like a bear pirate huggable lovable friend that's cuddly, and yes, you can hug him, J-Bone. He accepts hugs. Every time somebody reads the script and this character comes up, they always like bust up, and it makes me so happy that like his dialogue comes across as well as I wanted it to, because he's so dumb. He's not like Patrick Star dumb, but he's like the things he says are just so silly, and he like he just plays along with the situation. It's like if SpongeBob and Patrick weren't just actually dumb and had like some semblance of sanity in them.
Yeah.
I need to get just his base body down. It looks more like Belly Rub, which they are both bears, so it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at design, but he does look very huggable. Oh, well, I appreciate that. He has too much of like that Naruto face, like, I'm anime protagonist, look at my hair. I need to change that up.
No, you gotta give him far more ridiculous hairstyle.
To be protagonist. Like Shabu, where it's just like giant hair poking out the front to make his face turn into a star shape.
Yeah. Or, it's always the whole matter of like, hey, can you spot the shonen protagonist in this classroom?
Oh my
like,
gosh.
It's probably the one with the wildest hair.
Yeah, extreme hair.
Yeah.
Let's look at My Hero Academia characters.
They're at least fairly tame by comparison, at least since Deku's the main one.
Yeah, so my buddy was explaining that, because in this anime, all the characters look like the protagonist except Deku, and that's why his character works so well, is because he's the most like plain character that there is, but it makes him stand out because of that. Because there's freaking the fairy tale guy right here. There's like anime dude with the glasses, which is clearly like a side character because you never give the main character glasses. And then you got the dude with the two hairs and like the serious eyes. Huh?
But here's the thing: the guy with the glasses, that's Ida, and he is best boy, and you leave him alone.
Fair enough. I haven't seen it, so I can't say. There's like the obvious Hinata character. Then there's the obvious love interest because she has like the most obvious hips and like body, like slim body of all. And then there's the wacky female character, of course. And then there's Blasty Boy.
Actually, Sue's not really a wacky kid. Like she doesn't really do anything that's like, laugh out loud at outlandish. Like she's actually like very tame by comparison. Like
I just meant that she's a frog and she's got a weird tongue.
Yeah.
In terms of like design, not necessarily personality. Yeah. And then there's this bombastic boy right here who also has like main character hair.
Yeah.
And even this guy over here. Yeah. It's all those anime tropes thrown in together as per shonen. But they all look so... I love Deku's design. He looks so friggin' good. Deku Todoroki-kun Kirishima Ida. Or it's Ida?
Ida. That's the one I was saying is best for.
Oh, I like the frog girl. She looks really cool. Her and Deku have like some of my favorite designs. I hate the female protagonist character, the love interest. And that's just because of my... I know, everybody says that she's like their favorite, but I'm like, I don't like her. But that's just because she has like those obvious like sexualized design elements, and I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. But fair enough, it is a shonen.
Yeah. Well, and
that's how you sell that stuff.
Of, like, it's also just the problem, like, that has been like an ongoing criticism of like the creator of it tends to like make these interesting female characters, but gives them like nothing to really do.
Oh, like in Naruto.
Yeah, like there is a little bit of that. Now, granted, there is supposedly a spin-off series coming that will focus more on them, but I don't know how that's going to go, because there was already...
It's not even in the main series. It's not even in the main series. The female characters are so side that they have to have their own side series to be, like, relevant.
Well, I mean, if anything, it's that whole thing, they want to keep the story progressing.
Right. No, I understand. I'm just saying it's funny.
Yeah.
More of a joke, kinda.
Yeah. Nah, but because there's already another spin-off book series out there called like My Hero Vigilante or something like that. I think
I saw something like that at the bookstore.
Yeah. I hadn't read any of that, and like at least I hear from some people it's kind of okay. Like they feel like the big thing that's missing from it is the kind of thematic element of the character All Might. The guy who's like the guy who being like the teacher for all these kids.
Right.
Or like the big thing someone mentioned is how it's like all these kids in it, they're all inspired by All Might for like different reasons and all that.
Aww.
Like even the guy Bakugo, who's the one that in any other kind of show seems like he would have been like, the character that turns evil at a certain point.
Which one's Bakugo? Is he the split hair guy, or is he the one with the hand on his face?
No. Bakugo is the dude that has like the grenades on his wrist and all that.
I feel like I'm gonna like him a lot. Just because he's so like bombastic looking. He's just like wily.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like he is very much like, the dude who shouts and yells. And
he's the Sasuke.
Like, yeah, well, no, like Sasuke didn't really shout and yell. He was quiet. But no, he's the dude who, like, he is obviously really good at at the stuff he does, and also at times like someone kind of pointed out that in the beginning of the show he has that kind of big fish in a small pond syndrome or whatever, and that's why he has this contention with Deku, since in the beginning of the series Deku has no powers whatsoever,
right?
And then he ends up inheriting All Might's powers, but had to keep that kind of hush hush.
Oh, I didn't know he had to keep it quiet.
Yeah, well, it's because
he'll be hunted or something.
No. This is within the first 2 episodes that basically All Might had to reveal a secret to Deku because he saw it by accident that he's losing his powers.
That was in the first episode. I think I've only seen the first and second episode.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I like Tummy Laserbeam character.
Yeah. But since All Might's losing his powers, he was trying to find someone to pass it on. Because the thing that he reveals is that he himself also had no powers at one point. He
interesting.
Inherited his powers from his mentor. And since he had a devastating fight with his arch nemesis a few years prior, he can only now be in his superhero form for only 3 hours a day. And that's why he needs to find someone to pass it on to. And initially, that's why he became a teacher, so he can find a student that he can trust and bestow his power onto.
Right.
He chooses Deku because of that whole thing in the beginning with oh wait, no, it's in the second episode that he rushes in to try to save Bakugo during a situation despite the fact that he had no powers himself. So it was that whole that whole thing of kind of like a Captain America moment of despite having no powers, you try to do
the best you can with what you have, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why he chooses Deku to inherit his powers and all that. But there's at least a lot more interesting things that go on with that. Deku can't have the powers just yet because he's hey, yeah, your body's gonna explode.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so he has to do all that work.
Yeah, he has to do the strength training and so forth, and that's just to be on the safe side of yeah, you'll now have power, but you're still possibly gonna destroy your body in the process.
Well, he breaks his finger by using any of that strength because his bones can't handle it. Yeah. I thought that was actually a really fun idea, so I was all right.
Yeah.
I'll give this shonen anime a chance because I tried Fairy Tail and I hated it. I was oh my gosh. I didn't hate it. I was just I couldn't get myself to watch it because I do like some stuff of it. I was that's pretty cool. And same with it wasn't oh, maybe it was Fairy Tail, I think. What's the one with Lucy? Is that Fairy Tail? And
I honestly
and Happy.
I've never seen anything of Fairy Tail, so I can't say.
A little blue cat, Happy the blue.
Yeah,
cat.
I think that's Fairy Tail, the blue cat character.
Yeah, it is Fairy Tail. Okay, so that's the one that I was talking about. Because that's the character which made me want to watch it, and I was oh, this could be fun. And then I don't know, I just couldn't really get into it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is shonen anime now is kind of going through a good resurgence of telling different stories, or also starting to learn how to subvert the tropes and all that.
Right.
Particularly something like My Hero Academia.
Right.
They actually focus on the matter of working as a team, because the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, he had a book that he put out about his philosophy on writing stories. And he had this whole thing about it's not a good shonen story unless the main protagonist has a one-on-one battle with the main villain in the end.
Oh, I mean that's true.
Well, it's one of those things. It's a trope, and it's an understandable thing. Like, of course, you don't want the random like side character to take the big bad villain down,
to take the stage.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with like a group of people like teaming up together to fight all as one and all that.
I mean, to an extent, there's a certain way you actually have to write that, because it's like in Endgame, right? When they're fighting Thanos, and it's like, yeah, you can have them all fight Thanos, but realistically, the battle is just Captain America versus Thanos. And then after you see him triumph, then you can have the characters come back in again to finish him off. But it has to have the low point where it's only the main character. And it's the same with like Luke Skywalker, and you can call out anything you want. There's ways to write in like group fights against big bad, but really it has to be big bad versus like one main protagonist. Yeah. Which I guess in the sense would be like Tony Stark, dying to do that. So they did really good, because it's like each character that is really the protagonist, which is like Tony Stark, Captain America, and Thor. Kind of Thor, not really. He's still more of like a B character, but yeah. Did somebody say Captain America? Wow! Loki just flies in, just busts through the wall. Go ahead. Sorry.
Nah. But again, it's that matter of like some people that are working on Shonen now. It's that same thing of like they grew up enough on the series, and they can either do what's been done before and just kind of play it safe, or they can try to do something to maybe make it more interesting or to subvert certain tropes and so forth. Like, that's why I'm liking a lot of elements in that Fire Force anime.
That one, I can't wait to watch that, but I really have to wait till more of it comes out, because then I'll go insane waiting for like another episode, which is my least favorite thing. I binge watch stuff now. Like, if I'm gonna watch it, I want to watch a lot of episodes at once and then come back to it and finish it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, but like, because I think I mentioned a little bit on some of the things that I was liking with how that one was approaching certain bits of like shonen storytelling.
Right.
Like the whole thing of the character Shinra, like how he may be the rookie of the group, but there's actually like a trust within his youth. Like, it's not the whole like, hey, you got to stay behind and not enter this fight and then inevitably get in the fight anyways. Mm-hmm. It's more like, hey, we work as a team and we do trust you with this.
Right.
Like, it's also like, him being a rookie, he doesn't like just mess up constantly like in any other thing.
Right. I like that when I was doing like poses, they gave me one of Deku. I know I'm like jumping back to academia, but I guess it's like his first day at school, and he's like, I'm gonna enter and I'm gonna be so cool. And then it shows him like fly in the door and trip, and he's like, or I guess I'll die. Let me see if I can find that pose. Pose. Falling. Oh, here it is. I found it. It's this one right here. I'll pull it up on screen. I don't know what the quote is, but it's so good. I like that he's just like, eh. He's like all serious, but also like, I guess I'm just gonna die. Spoily ops from Endgame. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about now? It's on.
Which one?
Yeah. Well, I'll post it in Discord too then.
Well, no, I'm seeing the image now. I got your video up on my TV.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's that image where he's just like falling over.
Yeah.
I always thought that was so funny.
Yeah. Well, again, there's that matter again of like certain elements in My Hero Academia, like kind of not falling into the same tropes a lot of other shonen stuff do, because someone had mentioned like that first day of school, like you brought up the whole thing. Here's the character that's going to be the obvious like anime love and interest with, but like a lot of, because in that scene, that's the whole, he trips and falls, and she uses her gravity powers to stop him from face planting.
Oh, I don't know that. That's cute.
But
it's a meet cute.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Some people were saying if this was like any other standard shonen series, it would have been like, the whole, oh, I tripped and fell on top of this girl.
Oh, right.
Servicey and
right.
Yeah.
Like you were saying about the other one that we won't
Yeah.
say again.
Yeah. But yeah, like that, and then like I was saying with Fire Force, how they had that whole thing of like, they're going to
and
fight
Ninga, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Sorry, continue.
Just that whole thing, how they're fighting these things called Infernals, but Shinra, the main character's boss, was trying to tell him, hey, don't think of these as monsters. These were human beings at one point.
Right.
So you gotta show them like enough respect to put them down and all that, but not like just think of it as we're just killing monsters.
Right.
Yeah. And I will say though, the plot of that show is moving along quite quickly too.
I mean, what's it called? The other one they did, Death Eater, Soul Eater. Soul Eater was like really, really good. Welcome to the stream, Ninga. I don't know why I'm dabbing. I'm mostly just yawning and I'm stretching, so it just looks like I'm dabbing.
No, you're dabbing.
I'm heckin' dabbing,
can't help
boy.
It.
It's true.
It's all that Fortnite. You can't help yourself.
It's too much Fortnite. I haven't played Fortnite in forever, but I had a good time playing it. I love that, like, whenever I talk about it, people get so triggered. I'm like, I'm sorry that I actually enjoyed a game for once in my life.
Nah, I just never get around to checking it out.
Oh, I know.
Because I know it's probably not going to be a game that I'm ever going to be
like
good
really
at.
get into. Oh, I'm terrible at it, trust me.
Yeah.
But I'm very good at Saboteur or Subterfuge, which is an option in the game, which is why I like it so much, is I can be like, you're trying to fight this guy, and you're trying to fight that guy, and I'm just gonna break down your walls, and nobody's gonna know where I'm at, and it's just like, oh cool, this guy's winning now, it's fun. I only play Minecraft in this house. Oh, we only play Minecraft in this house. That's funny. Alright, well looks like Shu is actually getting a real, like, design finally, and I love him. I'm like 1,000 out of 10 in love with Shu. Although he does look a lot like Belly Rub, but they are both bears. And maybe related? Wink wink, nudge nudge, hint hint. But continue.
No, I forgot whatever train of thought I was on at the moment.
Well,
yeah.
Never mind.
I guess speaking of game-wise, I did pick up a couple of games the other day.
Oh yeah, I saw that. You got the new Spider-Man, which is one that I'm gonna have to borrow from you. I'll let you borrow a bunch of mine, by the way. Have you ever played Bloodborne?
No.
I feel like you wouldn't get into it because it is really challenging and it's not something you can like necessarily just enjoy to play through like the other ones you have. But if you ever do like that challenge of like progression, you know, like RPG, true progression, then it's like it's perfection. Like I've rarely had so much fun in a game as playing Bloodborne. But that's just my personal like appeal, so but I'll let you give it a try. I love him too. Oh, thank you, Jay Bonner.
I'm excited to play them, especially
I mean, Spider-Man's supposed to be like one of the best games that's come out for like PS4. But continue.
Yeah. Well, that and also, you know, it's been a long time since there was another good Spider-Man game since the Spider-Man 2 game. But also, like, because I picked up that Dragon Quest game, and like a lot of people are saying, like that one has been like really good outside of apparently just one major flaw, which I did not know about until someone pointed it out, which was something like, here's a testament to how good the game itself is. The biggest thing people complain about is just the music in the game. Oh,
that's like one of my favorite things, so it's sad to hear that. But if the game's good, you know, the game's good.
Yeah, well, because like a lot of people say, like, story good, environment good, gameplay good, all this stuff. It's just the music. 'Cause I guess apparently they were using like MIDI files or something like that.
It's just like the preset, like, how do we make this as cheap as possible?
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people were kind of baffled by it. But supposedly it's coming out on Switch soon, and they did fix the music.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So I guess they just added new music to it.
Yeah. Or like because it's this whole thing that the music that they're talking about is just like for the like battle music.
Oh, I see.
Because Dragon Quest has this like iconic like orchestral.
Oh,
music.
They cheated you out of that. Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean like in their like intro, like there is not a single game that doesn't have this intro thing that they play, and it's always like...
It's like if you play a Final Fantasy and it doesn't have the do 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 do, like their little like hymn, or theme,
or like the kind of Zelda themes that they have out there. But like because this is the testament to the Dragon Quest series. As far as I know, they have never made a bad game. It's like the worst any of their game is still good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, which I guess makes sense, because like I don't know if you knew this, but apparently anytime a new Dragon Quest game comes out in Japan, it's treated like a national holiday.
Oh yeah, that's how it used to be. I don't know if it still is, but it might be. I don't know though, because
I think it still is, like, because again, like, it doesn't come out. They don't come out with games too often.
I mean, it's been like every year lately, I feel like, but you might be right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and but again, like, well, like I was just even like looking at a listing of like the games and people ranking them, and it's, I think the lowest any of them had been was still, at least comparatively to the others, still like a 7 out of 10. So it's like, it's still good. May not be the best, but still good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ah!
What?
I'm really happy that I actually got him to look like he looks in my head. He's more like a teddy bear than he is like your brute friend, like the Foundation friend.
Yeah.
He's more like cuddly, and that's like exactly what I was trying to go for. And then I did manage to get those squares in there that you recommended, so I appreciate that, Joe. I like threw some in his design, so.
Yeah.
But he's so plush. He's so plump. I'm sure they look really good, Jebone. Huh, you haven't seen me draw hands before. Foolish of you to assume. I mean, I'm all about practice, so regardless if something looks good or bad, it's like you work on it until you get it to look like you want to.
Oh yeah. And when in doubt, wing it.
Just wing it. Wing-a-ding it. It is technically a kid's cartoon, so I can't have actual swords. Well, I mean, you can, but I'd rather have just, like, basically bludgeoning objects to beat the crap out of each other with.
No, just replace it with wiffle ball bats. There you go, kids.
Originally, it was supposed to be more like a G, where it was just like wooden swords and it was all make-believe, but I was like, but I want a big old grand adventure, so I was like, alright, they can use like shark teeth. Giant like teeth from monsters.
Yeah. God, that's just making me think of the Monster Hunter film that's coming out and how it's
I did
like,
not know there was a Monster Hunter film. That's interesting.
It's one of those things.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not super psyched for it because it's done by the same guy who did the Resident Evil film.
No!
Yeah.
Like, Resident Evil films are like a guilty pleasure to me. Like, they're clearly not good. Like, there's very few choices that are like really good choices, but I still enjoy them. However, I don't want them to work on something that like is actually really good.
Well, it's that, and also like the problem with the director of it is that he's going more for like the visual stuff. Like, you know, there is like a weird point of like Resident Evil where they decided to become less survival horror and more like
it's
action,
just action,
with a little bit of, and that's why like Resident Evil 7 came out and people were like, oh my god, this is so good because it's actually back to being a horror game and not just like
an action game.
I'm Chris Redfield and I got these mighty biceps. Let me punch a boulder.
Right.
But again, like, it's the problem is like the guy tends to just get the superficial things and just focus in on that.
Right.
And and particularly again, like, just hearing like his plot of what Monster Hunter is gonna be is
his poopy.
Not even. it's going with that setup of like, oh, a bunch of military ops people from our world somehow get transported into this world.
It sounds so glorious though. Like, I can't wait to see this. It's the same as like the Sonic movie, you know? It's like I have to see it because it's so like weird.
Well, no, it's more of like, you know, it's trash, but you're not expecting it to be great, and you just kind of want to see it as a train wreck.
Right. And I'm okay with either. If it turns out to be good, awesome. If it's not, then that's also fine for me.
Yeah, chances are awesome is not going to be in the cards for.
Hey, you don't.
Well, because again, like that dude, whenever he would make his Resident Evil films, it's like, hey, what's that dude with? No, it would like. As someone best described it, it's like he walked in on his kids playing the game and just saw, like, the thing that was going on in the screen was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to put that in the film.
Right.
Like, you know, oh, hey, here's a dude with a giant, like, bag over his head and a giant, like, battle axe with him.
Right.
Let me just throw him in the movie for no other reason than just to have a fight sequence with him.
Right.
Yeah. And particularly, again, because something like Monster Hunter, there's a lot of like interesting lore to it, like
there's just a lot of detail in the game, so they could do a lot with that, but they're not going to. You know the only thing they care about is that paycheck.
Yeah,
Hollywood's like, make a movie.
It's the matter of like kind of just dumbing down the idea to its base level,
right?
For like a more quote-unquote wider audience, but then it feels like you're then kind of missing the point on what makes something as popular as it was.
Yeah.
Like,
well, then, movies care about getting people in the seats. They don't care about whether or not it's like this thespian, like play with like a really good story where people stay and they're like, oh my gosh, they talk about it after and like the philosophy behind it. This isn't old Greek, this is like new age Hollywood where they just want that Gucci money.
Well, no, it's always that kind of back and forth of like, like people either loving a certain thing or like putting trust and faith in the audience to like something. Mm-hmm. And then, sometimes that'll backfire on you and sometimes it'll actually pay off.
Right.
Because, I mean, that was the problem with, well, like, it's also the matter of how much care and effort do you put into making this film and trusting to do something for it for the audiences and all that. Like, that's what made the Marvel films more successful than the Warner Brothers DC film. Mm-hmm. They would not only trying to like rush things out, but they got a person, well, two people who didn't care for superhero storytelling and just decided to have them tell superhero stories.
Right.
Because, you know, David Goya does not like superheroes and actively thinks they're dumb, and that's why he writes script on, like, I gotta make this thing, like, in a way that I find it more appealing.
Find it appealing.
And then you got, you know, Zack Snyder, who was all like, hey, you know, how about I have all these kind of different elements in it, and that makes it a so much more enjoyable superhero story to me. It's like, but now you've effectively, like, forgotten what made these characters appealing.
But to be fair, it's like, if I ask you to draw, well, what is something you would hate to draw? Some, like, Junji Ito stuff, right? And it's like, I can't expect your Junji Ito to be Junji Ito. I would get whatever your version of it is. It's like, however you perceive it. So it's like, you know, Zack Snyder, I love his style. He has a very, very, like, grand, epic, cinematic, like, get in your seat and get ready for this, like, wild ride. It's almost like, it's like if horror crossed, like dark gritty crossed, like, I don't know, like Lord of the Rings, but just play it up like 10 times. Like that's his style, and I love it. So his version of that on Superman was like, oh man, this is awesome. Like, this is such a spectacle. But I know, like, a lot of people don't like it, huh?
Yeah. But therein lies part of the problem too of, like, you know, yeah, it's the spectacle and so forth, but if you're, like, adapting a thing, you have to still, like, kind of have the essence of what makes the characters the characters. Like, that was the whole problem of, like, taking this approach of, like, well, Superman just feels like an outsider, and that whole thing of, like, you know,
like the Jesus allegory behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of made sense. Like, I could vibe that, like, story setup. I thought it was really good, but, you know, other people, it's not what the mass majority wanted, which is fine. I was thoroughly satisfied though, so I guess somebody at least got enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. But again, like, you know, over time, a lot of those films just started to fail more and more, and that's why
it became like a popular thing, like, oh man, I can't wait to see how bad this next one is. To be fair, me and my brother were, like, so hyped for Justice League, because I just wanted it to be good because he loves it. That's, like, his thing. Justice League to him is like Final Fantasy to me. So I was like, oh, I really hope this is good for his sake, because I want him to be happy. And so it comes out, and, like, we're both so bored. Like, I've rarely been so bored watching a movie, and that's considering I've seen, like, growing up, I've seen so many movies, and, like, I always find some enjoyment in them, but, like, Justice League, I was like, oh my gosh, like, when will this end? Everything is so bad. However, Aquaman, like, hit me super hard, because I was like, dang, this is, like, so visually fascinating. But yeah.
Nah. But to me, I just kind of went with the approach of a lot of these films, like, because the thing was, I initially wanted to see the Superman film.
Right.
And but then, like, well, it was more like I had an opportunity to see it and just didn't, and that's when I started to hear, like, all the various, like, how people were receiving the films overall, and it seemed like at first a lot of people had more, like, hesitant things of, like, oh, you know, it had problems, but I kind of liked it. It had some interesting things, and then those same people over the years, as the other films came out, they were just like, you know what, retrospectively speaking, that film was pretty bad too.
I guess. I mean, you could say that about, like, all of the Marvel ones too, though. Like, I don't think there's any Marvel one I would really want to go back and watch, other than maybe, like, Infinity War and Ragnarok. Maybe Iron Man 1 and 2.
Not even Captain America, like, because I know, like, the first Captain America is kind of so-so, but then, you know, Winter Soldier was really solid.
I thought Winter Soldier was, like, okay and very forgettable, because even now, my buddy Kelly, he loves Winter Soldier and Civil War. And so I went back and watched it for his sake to, like, see why he appreciated it, and I was like, oh yeah, these are a good time. And so now thinking back, I'm like, I've seen those movies like 3 times each, and I still can't remember anything other than Bucky, Cap, and then there's like a scene on a freeway where there's a bomb and he blocks it with his shield or something. And like there's a bunker, I think, and there's Hydra somewhere. And like that's my point, is like I shouldn't be forgetting these movies if they're really that good. But I don't know, that's just me in particular. Yeah. I'm not trying to like offend anyone, because I know everybody's like, how dare you, those movies are like a godsend. It's like, all right, calm down.
Nah, I'm just done having those kind of fight arguments of if someone doesn't like film, be like, you're wrong because you didn't like it.
Right. It's just different tastes. Yeah.
Like, that's why it is very hard to have certain conversations on like this one Facebook group.
I know. Trust me, I know. It's like you can't throw a rock without creating a wave.
Yeah. Or it's also like there's also again that matter of sometimes you'll get into a group with people and you may not realize certain things about an individual that explains why they are the way they are for it. Mm-hmm. I do have a friend, and he is autistic, but he's high functioning autistic or whatever the term is.
Yeah.
And there are times where he gets like a little overly like passionate about something.
Right.
Or then also he ends up getting like very like mentally mindset in his ways on stuff. Like I remember he decided to have quote unquote hot take.
Pause real quick.
Sure.
J Boney, these characters are really cool. So I presume you drew this one in the middle, because that looks like the style from the previous one you drew, which is like super awesome. Like, I don't want to hear you say you don't know how to draw, because this looks so good. Your proportions and the body look awesome. Your shoulders are like really well placed. Your hips look really good. And I can see where those knees line up, and like everything just looks so good in this. And I think that's awesome. Maybe the navel could go up there. And even those like calves look really nice, and they get really slim in those shoes. Everything looks so good in this. Oh, you drew both on the right. That's awesome. Your coloring's really nice too. I like those ears. Yeah. Everything about this looks so good. So you got it. What is this just like a female character? Is there a story behind it, or did you just draw it and you're like, oh, this is a character that I like? Because this looks so good. Like, I can't even draw this good. Thank you so much. Haha. I'm glad, because I doubt my skill. Haha. To the funny farm we go. Haha. Yeah, this is really good. Even the breasts line up really well, which is something that I see a lot of anime followers mess up on. They don't understand how that works. So this is really good. I love that neck and like that face. Very nice. And even it's like lined up perfectly on the page, which is like one of the hardest things ever. But yeah, and then the one on the left obviously looks like 1,000 out of 10. She really captured that personality that I think you have. Yeah, because she even got like the lips right that you have over here. That expression. That it seems like that's like the character's core expression. That's awesome. I really like seeing how when artists can chameleon and just really like capture the identity of like what it is that they're drawing, which I have trouble with. I usually just make my own version of it. Her name is Annalise, and she's athletic. I want to come up with more of a story, but that's basically your ideas. Just this athletic girl. That's cool. I like it. I think that's really interesting and really, really, really neat. It's rare that you see like a muscular female kind of character, so I think it's awesome. Good colors too. All right, Joe, you can continue. Sorry.
Let's see. Shoot, what was I even talking about? Oh, wait, now I remember. Conversations with people that seem to get like all. So, one friend of mine, he gets a little bit overly passionate. Part of it is because he is autistic, and he does realize it at times. But also, like, it's hard to have like an actual conversation with him on certain things, because he'll set in like a mental way, and he will not budge on it. Like, well,
I think that's most people that get passionate, because it's like their validation of their enjoyment is tied to whether or not you appreciate it. And that's the thing that gets me the most, is like, I like you as an individual, Joe. I love you regardless of what you like or like any of your interests. I'm interested in you as a person. not whether or not you like anime, not whether or not you think My Hero Academia is cool or not. I just like you. And so when it's like, oh, you don't like this show, then I can't appreciate you, Justin. It's like, well, then what the hell, man? Like, why that like counteracts the whole point of being a friend, you know? It's like, it's like whether or not you draw doesn't matter to me. Whether or not you're interesting, well, I guess interesting matters, but yeah. So it's like you don't have to validate yourself, not you, but just in general. Like people don't have to validate themselves by what they enjoy. But however, that does go back to like that tribal psychology of like, if you can't be in our tribe to exist and survive out in the wild unless you also do what we do. So it's like I understand it, but it also drives me up a wall because it's like so obnoxious that we're still in like that old tribal mindset. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't just like so much just that. It was like for instance, he decided to put his opinion out on Facebook on this one particular matter, and then if anyone countered him or like chose to debate him on it, then suddenly he's all like, well, why are you getting involved in it? It's like, well, why did you put out your opinion if you didn't want people to have a conversation with you?
Yeah, right.
And his opinion was basically this hot take of like, anime is garbage, and there hasn't been anything good out of it in years. And by years, he's meaning like this hasn't been a single good thing to come out of Japanese animation since like the 80s.
Oh wow. Well, that's there's no arguing with someone who's got a mind, because then you're not even open-minded enough to look at like anything that's come out.
And that's the thing. Like, I like debated him. Like, now, dude, come on, you can't just say there's nothing good out there,
right?
Because particularly if you're not actually looking for stuff, then of course you're not going to find anything. And then like, breaking down a little bit of the conversation was finding out that it's not even anime that's his problem. His classmates who are anime fans that he's having problems with. It's like this mindset of like something of like all like he had this whole thing of like animation has stunted art development and whatnot, and they're all just about making waifus and whatnot.
I mean, he's not necessarily completely wrong, because there is like that is like a large portion of it is like that self-indulging like fantasy of like, oh, you know, I want to make this beautiful like large-breasted female, and it's like, all right, calm down, like you're allowed to, but also keep that to yourself.
But that's a thing that's not solely responsible from just anime. That's a thing that's prevalent in all like groups, because people make OCs of anything that's popular.
Right,
like,
exactly. And you're completely allowed to.
Yeah, but it was then just like him also of just this mindset of like, you know, again, nothing's good has come out of it. It's like, dude, that's like factually impossible.
It's so true. It's like as soon as you make something absolute, you're in the wrong. Like you're incorrect, because that is an impossibility.
Yeah, because like, yeah, there might be stuff you might not like. There might be trends of stuff, but then it's a matter like, if you're not willing to even give certain things a shot, then how can you say that?
How can you even pretend to have an opinion, right?
Like, because I would be like, hey man, check out Mob Psycho 100, this is really good, and he just looked at it, he's like, oh, the art style is ugly, why would I want to watch that?
It's got like such a precision crafted art style too. It's like, like that show in general is just like a masterpiece. But continue.
And so it is just that whole thing, like, you know, even trying to argue with him, particularly because I've seen him get like really upset when like people make the whole like, you know, Cal Arts animation like argument of like, you know, oh, American cartoons all look alike because they all look like they're made by the Cal people.
Right. Well, there is a trend, which is fair enough. You know, you got to take that into consideration.
Yeah. But it's one of those things too of like, yeah, it's a trend, but it's not an absolute.
Right.
Like, you know, especially when people were making their arguments, they were like just basing it off of dumb things of like, oh, cartoons then, and they show all these various different looks, but it's cartoons that were ranging from like the 50s to the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, Cartoons Now, and they picked 4 shows that had came out within like 5 years that all happen to have a similar art style.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like, that's an unfair comparison because one, you got one that has over 50 years worth of animation. And, Cartoons Then, and then Cartoons Now was what was made in the last 5 years.
Right.
And then to follow that up too, of like just kind of ignoring like some of the other things, like there was a lot of cartoons in the 80s where they recycled the same like animation or even the same character designs for things. Like, how many characters that were from like Hasbro cartoon shows that all looked like the exact same dude because they're making a toy.
Yeah, that's like ponies. As soon as ponies blew up, Hasbro started making like everything in that kind of design sense. Because as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, I like this other thing, and so my enjoyment of that other thing pulls over to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, like the whole thing, my friend was just he gets upset over seeing that kind of argument, but then he's gonna go here and make the exact same kind of argument over just the thing that he doesn't like.
Right.
It's like, you can't,
that's when you have him in a corner and you just like gotta argue him down and be like, well, in that case, let me use that same logic on
or
you.
like, or then it's even like trying to talk to him about like, some people aren't gonna like the same things you like because like he's a big Steven Universe fan, and like I told him like I got a cousin who doesn't like Steven Universe. Like the kind of shows he likes are things like he likes Amazing World of Gumball and he likes Family Guy. Those are his kind of shows.
Yeah, Gumball's so good.
But then like he did have to be like, well, I don't think I would want to have a conversation with your cousin then. I was like, dude, come on.
Just an absolute. Only Siths deal in absolutes. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and again, like I tried to break it down. Like, I mean, dude, just kind of realize this stuff. Like, I know, like it's that whole problem of like you yourself know you have autism,
right?
And I know this might be a hard thing to grasp, but like, kind of just think a little bit that maybe it's your autism that's making you think this way.
Oh my gosh, like, you can't say that out loud.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a BuzzFeed article written about you.
I ain't
typical cis white male, anti-autism.
That's when I throw back at them. I spent over 4 years in special education, so I actually know this kind of stuff.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I had reading and writing disabilities going through it was probably more than 4 years. Like I remember a bulk of like my elementary, middle school years of having to be in like special ed class.
Oh, fair enough. I probably would have too. Well, actually, I don't know.
It was like partly reading and writing disabilities. Possibly also just like some like learning disabilities, because it was that whole thing unless things were explained in a way that I break down and understand.
I mean, that's like education in general. It's like that's not. I don't even think that's like a disability thing. I think it's just like an inability for your brain and the teacher to communicate correctly.
Yeah.
Because like that's what learning is the ability to communicate an idea so that it's easily understood.
Again, but this was also like back in like the early 90s, so some of it was them kind of fumbling around with certain things, because like I had to do like certain tests and they were like weren't sure if like maybe I had Asperger's, maybe I was autistic.
I know what you're talking about now, where it's like a lot of the schools were still learning like how to handle this stuff. Yeah,
and so
it still are today.
And there is like something sometimes my parents have talked about whenever that stuff gets brought up, that maybe putting me in the special ed classes might have actually hurt my development a lot more than help it.
It's possible. It might have made you limit yourself on like how you perceive whether or not when you run into a mistake or like an inability, if you just blame it on, like, oh, well, I can't because of this. It's like, well, then you're going to slow yourself down, where it's just a matter of like forcing yourself to learn it. Because that's what it was for me, is like I'm really bad at learning stuff, but I'm really good at mastering it. So I just beat my head against the wall until I get it. And that's like how you're supposed to learn stuff. unless you're Asian and you just get it immediately.
Yeah.
Ooh. Busted.
But it was like when I was in these classes, like there was 2 other guys who also had like reading disabilities. But then like I also had classmates who were like severe like mental disabilities, uh, uh like I remember a kid, I think his name was Danny.
Jenner 0829, welcome to the stream, friend. Continue. You're good.
But like, I think his name was Danny, and I remember like he was a kid, like he was deaf to begin with, but then also like, you know, he I don't know, like maybe like I don't even know like what's the right term for it, but like, you know, like he had like, well, it's that whole problem. I don't know how to refer to it any other way than, of course, the word that they say you're not supposed to use now for like mental disability.
Slow. You could just say slow.
I get. Well, yeah, I guess maybe that, but like I just remember like he had kind of like this small little like almost kind of like a speaking spell or like a little thing like push to like buttons to like get a phrase or something. Like I'm hungry or something to that effect. Or then like also there was this kid who you know, he would get like fixated on something. Like I always remembered like he would get fixated on the fans in the room and all that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
He had ADD, probably.
No, it's not. It wasn't even ADD. It was like literally like him being like turning.
Oh wow.
Like.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like this was the kind of class that I was in, and
right.
You know, small class had like a handful of people, and they would try to like, you know, help us develop as much as we could. And again, like my parents said, maybe some of it kind of hindered me since I was in like with these classes, you know, like the 2 individuals, and there was like a couple of others, but those were like the only 2 I remember really. But again, like, you know, like they had such severe like mental disabilities and all that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Hold on, I just now Jaboni, I just now saw your comment. But yeah, that's really nice, dude. So let's see.
I'm putting him in armor. Like the most generic armor ever. Heyo.
But yeah, let's see. Jaboni was posting, oh, that's awesome. I have recently become involved in a club and volunteer at a hippotherapy organization for children who have special needs. It was a very changing experience, and I have grown very passionate about it. Yeah, for sure, dude.
I would agree too, because I know, like, to be fair, a lot of people are very uncomfortable around, like, special ed, and it's like this uncomfortableness comes from, like, they're clearly harmless, but you don't understand like their brain functions as you would in like a normal scenario, so it's just new, so it's just a matter of like being around them to understand they're just people that function differently than you. But
well, it's that, and also of course too, like especially now there's like all this like constant back and forth on how things go, like, you know, that whole thing on how people, you know, there's the whole anti-vaxxer thing going on where people are like, oh, don't vaccinate your children, it'll make them autistic. And some people who are autistic, hey, yo, what the hell?
Like, excuse me?
Yeah, like, I remember there was a good article someone pointed out of being like, hey, don't use my disability as a way to justify your cause.
Right.
Especially, like, if they're matter, it's like, do you think I just have, like, no functioning brain at all because I am autistic? Like, yeah, I have autism. There are things that I do struggle with, but that doesn't mean I'm somehow like a vegetable with like no higher function to think
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, it's that whole matter of like, there's so many things that we still don't even know about the human brain.
Right.
Maybe there's so many people that are walking around with these issues that,
well, I think everybody has like lesser versions of it, honestly, from like what I've studied.
Like that was just kind of like how I approached it. Like, this whole, like, not just like how we are raised and how like with cultures, but like just that whole problem of like certain aspects that, if you kind of broke it down, it's just one of those matters of like, why are you like this?
Well, it's just you are never taught otherwise is the problem. It's like families think that your friends decide who you become when it's really your family who dictates it. Yeah. So when you raise a kid well, like, he won't turn into, something. And it's not a matter of like, you raise them to understand these situations, but like the way the parents act in a situation determines how the kids act, and the kids in that family are the ones who reinforce that situation. So like, if let's say I was like, oh, don't watch PG-13 movies as an adult, I only watch PG around my kids, then my kids would do that, and then they would reinforce it among each other, and that would decide whether or not that kid would continue to do so.
Yeah. But like what I'm getting at is like, again, that whole thing of like, like, you've seen this probably when you've dealt with customers who there's some minor mistake that happens and they got to make it seem like it's the biggest apocalyptic event that happened in their entire life. And it's just like, dude, the world is still turning. You can get another coffee later.
Right.
Or even just like Tom was telling me he was working at a different AGB, and just like a weird encounter with someone where someone was walking by and he was like, oh, hi, how you doing? Is anything I can help you with? And the person apparently just sneered at them and said, your sugar-free section is a joke.
That's awesome. I would be like, oh my gosh.
Okay. Why is that your response when someone's trying to genuinely be nice to you right now?
Well, that's just who they are. I do have a story like that that's pretty great. So I am not a manager at the place that I work, my place of business, but I do have a lot of authority. And so my supervisor was gone at the time, and this lady comes in, and we only had 5 of the 10 items that she ordered. So I was like, oh, you can, I can get you something else if you want, no big deal. And she's like, oh no, I just wanted these. And I was like, all right, well, I can refund you if you like, but I need the card that you ordered it with, the phone app. And she's like, it's in the car with my husband. So you can she's like, just give me gift cards. And I was like, I can't do that. I can refund it to the app that you purchased it with. And she's like, you're just not willing to help me at all, are you? And I'm like, ma'am, I'm doing everything that I'm allowed to do, we're allowed to do. Procedure, there you go. Procedure that I'm allowed to do.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, if you're not willing to work with me, then I'll just take these drinks and go. And then she leaves and she comes back, and I'm like, all right, that could have been worse. And she comes back and she's like, I have it if you can help me now. And I'm like, well, I'm making these drinks, so you can wait until I'm done. And she's like, ah. And so I take it, and I'm like, all right, let me help you with this. She's like, I want to speak to your manager. And I'm like, thinking like, she's gone at lunch. I am the manager. And she's like, and then she just leaves. And I was like, yes, this was awesome.
Yeah.
It was such a good, fun situation. I love negative situations in the work environment. And I know that's like counterintuitive, but it helps me practice being steady-minded, like regardless of stress. So I always
good on you. I can't do that.
No, well, you have to approach it differently. You have to think of it not as like, oh my gosh, if I make a mistake, that's bad. It's more like, I hope that, like, I need to calm myself and understand the situation so that I can practice controlling it as best as possible.
Now, part of it is just a matter of, like, it's the fight or flight response when confronted with, like, confrontation. Especially because my instinct is to, like, fight. So it's that problem of, like, if someone is coming at me in this very hostile way, I can't legally go up and punch him in the face for doing. So then it's like response is to fly away from it, which that I can't do either. So then it's like stuck in this perpetual hell of like, you know, I'm like, you know, when I get like really frustrated with like customers, it is that whole thing like I am shaking below counter space like ants at the ready, and it's like,
well, it's all that adrenaline coming in. You have to like kill, in a sense, like numb your mind, where it's like deaden yourself almost, like deaden your nerves in a sense.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I can't do it in those moments.
Right.
It's like literally my body's either fight this fool or get out of the situation.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That's how it used to be for me too. And then at a certain point, I grew up and I was like, I'm an adult. Like, if I wanted to, I could quit right now and just beat the crap out of this person, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
It's just like, I am getting paid to be here, and so I'm gonna be polite regardless.
Yeah, that was always like just kind of the feeling that sometimes I had of like, you know what, it's always like that problem of like the whole retrospectively, like, well, it's a good thing I didn't go and punch that person in the face, because chances are I'd be in jail.
Yeah, you probably would.
Yeah.
It'd be like assault, because they probably wouldn't fight back.
Yeah, but to me, it's also just that matter of like, you know, it's why after working enough retail-based and fast food-based jobs, why I try not to be difficult whatsoever with some of the people that are working there.
Right.
Because my mindset is,
you learn
don't
empathy.
Be a half.
Yeah.
And then again, that's just my problem of like, why is it that like people still act this way? It's like, come on, guys.
They've gotten everything that they've wanted when they want it, and then they get into the practice of, if I complain, I'll get what I want. And then when they don't get what they expect, because that's what really like human what is the word? It's
entitlement.
No, it's the underlying emotion that you have in a situation. It's your not expectancy, your interest. It's almost like interest. Let me look it up. I know. It's your... Man. I use this word all the time.
Self-preservation?
No, it's like your underlying your intention. Your intention is based off of maybe that's backwards. It's your... I can't word right now. I'm sorry. But basically, yeah, it's like you've practiced this thing, and then so your expectancy is dissuaded. So you're like thrown off, and so you're like, how do I fix this? If I were a waitress, I could not hold back. Like, honey, do you really think I am that stupid? I mean, fair enough. Fair enough, friend.
Yeah. Alright, well, I just now saw the time. I gotta get up early tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna call it a night.
Sounds good, man. It was a pleasure having you on stream again. It's always fun when you're enjoying.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Well, good night, everyone.
Have a good night, Jeff. Bye. I think that will be the end of the stream for me as well. Wow, I got a dislike. How rude. Absolutely right. 2 hours and 30 minutes, not bad. Thanks for joining all. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you had a good time. Have a great night. Stay safe. Bye.